Hey guys, honey, I'm home. Here's Ronnie. Yes guys, it's Ronsanut back with you for a new build log. I know it's been a while. Some of you maybe have followed my last build, which happened, I guess, like maybe around March, April of this past year. And the reason why you haven't seen much of me is because a lot of wonderful things have happened. I got married, I moved, I bought a new home, and not too long ago moved into this new home. So I had to rebuild my studio, and kind of took a break for a little while doing system builds while everything else in life got settled. But now things are back and settled down, and we're getting ready as we move into this beautiful holiday season, a new customer build. So that's what you see in front of you here. So I've got here a new build for a customer that is based on the Case Labs Mercury S5 Micro-Atx case. Now in this puppy we're going to have the motherboard, which is an EVGA X99 Micro 2, and that's going to house a Intel 5820K and 16 gig of G.Skill RAM. Again, almost all of these parts are all provided by the customer, and he wants a power supply, the EVGA Supernova 750 G3, and also for the GPU an EVGA GTX 1070 for the Win GPU. For storage, we're going to have a Samsung 950 Pro 512 gigabyte for the OS. And then for some speedy access to games and things, we're going to have a Samsung Evo 1 terabyte SSD. And then for backup and kind of general mass storage, he wants the just a Western Digital 2 terabyte drive, which he had available. And then for water cooling, of course this is going to be a water cooled build. For radiators, we've got the Black Ice Nemesis 280 GTS. We got two of them, as there's going to be one mounted into the front of this S5 case and one mounted in the top. So you'll get to see all that glory as I do it. And then the fans that are going to go on that rad are the Cougar red LEDs, and the 140s for the radiators, and then we have a red one for the case fan in the back. For water blocks and water cooling additional parts, we have the EK Res X3150. That's the reservoir we're going to use. And then we have the EK Revo pump top, and it actually comes with a 100 res, but we're going to change it out for that 150. And we're going to mount in it a Coolants D5 pump. That's a variable adjustable pump. And then that is going to be connected to our water block for the GPU, which is the EK FC1080, which is also the 780 reference block, a GPU block with the back plate. And then we also have for the motherboard an EK Supremacy Evo block. And I'll show you the beauty of all these guys here. And then finally, we're going to be using a red and black color scheme with a little bit of silver accenting, and we are using bits power fittings basically, and I'll be using PETG tubing and bending some of that stuff to fit into this little case here. And then we're gonna show all that stuff with some dark side lighting. So I've got more dark side lighting that we're going to look to use aside from the ones that are shown here. So that's basically the key parts, or all the parts for this build. And we'll see, when we get into as we decide on the loop order and all that, we're going to, we may have to change some of those pieces around a little bit, but I'll take you through that as we go through the build, as I always do. And the only thing you don't see here really is the custom cabling. For a case this small, we're not going with all of the cables that come with the power supply. We're going to have custom cables made with the color scheme in mind. So, so this is the build log. Although what I think I may do is actually show you some of the motherboard and pieces. I like to make sure that the system is working before I start mounting it into the case. You know, especially when you're talking about water cooling. Once you have the pieces fitted and tubing run, you know, if you got a problem, that's not the time to find out. You want to know beforehand. So, of course, I'll be testing out all the electronics before I finally mount the items into the case, and I'll share that with you. So here we have the EVGA X99 Micro 2. Very nice little motherboard. And one of the things they give you is this nice I/O shield, I guess, over the over your connectors on the back panel. And they give you a couple of screws. Of course, I would have to use the ones. They use the same holes that mount your motherboard to your case, so I can't put these screws in until I do that. But they have nice heat sinks over there, and just really nice black. The capacitors are black with the silver. They keep the color coordination pretty nice. So what we're going to do now is put in the Samsung 512 gigabyte Pro. Go ahead and do that. Then we'll do the processor and then the memory. And then we'll check it out, as I like to check out my hardware before I water cool anything. Alright. So here we have M.2 slot. Perfect at this 950. Matches the same color coating as the rest of the system here, and I need a screw. Somewhat magnetic would be nice. Okay, M.2 installed. Okay, now let's get some memory installed. This is 16 gigabyte of DDR4 2400, latency of 1515 1535. And we're going to go ahead and get it installed right. Okay, we have the motherboard assembled now. Now what I'm going to do is hook it up to the test bench here, and let's fire it up and make sure everything's running well. So. Alright, we have the motherboard assembled with the memory and the M.2. We're going to now hook it up with a power supply and a GPU and load an operating system. Make sure everything's working good before we stick them in the case. Alright, we have the EVGA GeForce GTX 1070 on the test bed. Motherboard fully outfitted with the 950 Pro down there you saw before. Just a H100i cooler to keep things going on the test bench. 16 gig of memory. I put in a DVD player to load it. We have the EVGA Supernova 750 all cabled up, and yeah, we're ready to fire this guy up and load an operating system. So let's see how well that goes. Alright, so we're going to go through this one more time here just to make sure CPU is recognized. We're good there. Memory, we have the XMP profile selected. Well, it's not selected, it should be. Alright, so we have that set up now. Advanced, we're going to go down into onboard device configuration, make sure all of this is enabled. I don't think you have to have the wake on LAN, but especially here, in order for your M.2, the 950 Pro to be recognized, you need to tell it that you have M.2 socket 3 enabled. Improve this compatibility, set that to enabled, and USB 3.1 is also enabled. And then we're going to go into the boot section here. You're going to have fast boot on off. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go and make sure that the boot mode select is UEFI. And then boot options, you may have to wait until you set up the boot mode here. And then when you go down to this CSM configuration, you set launch CSM is enabled. You do not launch this PXE option ROM. And then you set launch storage op-ROM policy to UEFI and other PCI device ROMs to UEFI. So once you have all that loaded, then you can reboot into Windows. I'm sorry, reboot into the BIOS. You save it and reboot it. And then when you come up and you want to make, then you should have the option then to have hard disk Windows boot manager as your boot option coming up. So those are the key things you need to have your Samsung 950 Pro recognized, and once you do that, you'll be able to load Windows. So we're going to go ahead and save and exit. Okay, yep, after making sure all of the proper settings in the advanced section of the boot menu, making sure you have UEFI set as key, and that you set the M.2 recognition in the devices, the onboard devices section of the BIOS. I loaded Windows 10 on a DVD player, and it came right up. It recognizes it, and now it's going to install Windows on it. So we're good to go. Alright, I'll come back after everything boots up, make sure the system recognizes everything, and then I think that indicates we've got a good working base system. I don't have any faulty components. Check out that card. That's the GeForce GTX 1070 for the win. I love those lights. Those blue lights look really cool. And then of course it has the the logo lit up. Unfortunately we're going to be water cooling that, so that's coming off. And right now it's not getting hot enough. You see those blades trying to spin. We're just sitting at the operating system right now. Alright, drivers are all loaded. Everything's ready to rock and roll. Just going to activate Windows. And then that'll be it for this part of the video. Alright, so we have Windows 10 activated. Now we have verified the system is fine. All the drivers are loaded. The GPU is working fine. Motherboard, CPU, RAM, the 950 Pro. Everybody's working well, so I feel confident. I have good working parts, and the power supply as well. So now about time to start taking it apart off the test bed, putting some blocks on the GPU and on the CPU, and getting it fitted inside the case so we can start getting the rest of the system build going. So but that's it for this video, guys. I appreciate you watching. If you did like this, please give me a like. It takes a second to click the thumbs up, and if you want to see more of this videos, please share and please subscribe. And other than that, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. That's it from Ronsanut. See you in the next video.